You just hit play on 10-minute tech talks, business insights, and growth hacks for the time-crunched entrepreneur. What does it take for a small, bootstrapped tech company to leap from building dashboards to designing AI-powered drones for the U.S. Army? Well, today on 10-minute tech talks, we dive into one of the most unlikely and inspiring pivots in tech. I'm your host, Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council and Tech 5 Radio. And in this episode, you'll hear from James Julius, founder and CEO of Visimo. James reveals how his team evolved from early-stage ramen budgets to landing a $3 million defense contract, and why staying close to customers drove every major turning point, and how rapid prototyping and AI are transforming what small teams can build. If you're an entrepreneur, innovator, or anyone navigating fast-moving technology, this is something you just don't want to miss. Let's get into it with James right now.
Basically, beginning of October 2015, we got going. And 10 years, well, you blink and it's on you.
It is.
And, I was joking with you before we got going. I said, 10 years ago, we were making, visual dashboards for air conditioning companies. And now today we're going to talk about, literally doing additive manufacturing and building AI-driven drones in-house. So it's been quite the arc that we've gone on.
It's very, very cool. And you could probably write a book at some point.
Yeah, a couple of books at this point. Yeah.
And also the way you built your company, you've always had customers.
Yeah.
As you bootstrapped it, which I think I just love. I know Audrey, our CEO, who's also my co-host often on the show. She's always in and out, but she would probably give you a big kiss on the lips right now.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. We secured our first customer within 6 months. I had a very young, growing family at that point. We ate ramen for a couple of years. We're very lean, and hired my first set of employees. A year and a half, 2 years after we got going. And one of those guys has been with me the whole time.
Awesome.
And it's been incredible to see his growth, and then the other folks that we've hired. We have a great and committed staff with us, and really, really blessed.
That's a good story. I love that all the way around. But first and foremost, congrats on this contract. That is a huge deal as far as it goes. Give me the key details of this. I mean, this sounds like really important stuff as I was kind of introing this. And we're talking about drones and rapid prototype. I mean, tell me, what exactly is going on with this, and how did they find you in the first place to do this?
Yeah, so the U.S. Army's AI Integration Center, they're based out of here in Pittsburgh. A few years back, when the Army Futures Command stood up, they had the AI task force that came here to Pittsburgh, and they at that point were looking for businesses to work with that would essentially be the intersection of small businesses, university, and military partners. And this is going back to 2020, 2021. We built relationships with them at that point. And we were the business that was selected to build this AI platform that would unify this small business and university and allow them to be able to do data science and artificial intelligence design in a software platform. And, we were the company chosen to prototype this. So our relationship with the AI Integration Center, AI2C, goes back about 5 years. And so we've been working with them on different projects, different topics over the past few years, anything from software to in the computer vision space when it comes to examining artillery fire. And so this was an offshoot of some of that work that we started a few years ago. And one of the needs that we're finding out is there's a bunch of unmanned aerial vehicles that end up being in a wartime theater, right? So you're seeing these different classes of UASs. So small ones, think about things that are like 10 pounds or less. And there's these drones of them, swarms of them that will fly, and they have just no real way of understanding what is happening in the front lines of the military. And so these small ones, they don't have a lot of endurance, and they wanted to create a drone that was less expensive, because drones are super expensive.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking like there's ones that we're evaluating that are like $70,000, $80,000 a pop. And these are our small ones. They're called SRRs, or short range reconnaissance aircraft. And so the Army had this idea, and they said, hey, we want to create a MRR, or a mid-range reconnaissance aircraft. Right. And so mid-range basically said, hey, it needs to be able to fly further. It needs to be able to fly longer. And it's going to be predominantly doing intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions. So going to fly high. It's going to be able to, be able to run front activities, be able to understand and observe what is going on in the front lines. And ultimately, can it be able to control and engage other drones if it's in the air? So that was like big mission. And they're like, and at the same time, we want it to be inexpensive. And
It would
it's
be
like,
cheap. Sure, no problem.
right. So, if you want it to be good, you want it to, not cost a lot of money. How do you be able to maximize these things in a rapidly evolving ecosystem?
Right. Oh
Right.
my goodness.
Now, bear in mind what I mentioned to you is a couple of years ago, we were making dashboards for analytics
I was going to say,
companies.
yeah, you're making dashboards.
Right. So how do you make that jump, right?
Yeah.
And so we've been in the machine learning and artificial intelligence space for a long time. The staff that we have, we have engineers on staff, we have physicists on staff, and so at the same time, we have a pretty deep bench of software engineering experience. So when you look at the the dozen-person company, right? It's, well, how equipped are they to be able to developing drones? It's, well, at the same time, we now have access to all these tools we've been using forever, and
Makes
since
sense.
AI was at its earliest inception point, and we're able to now bring in all the education that we have and all of the information that exists publicly, and be able
Right.
to rapidly prototype, drones using artificial intelligence to help be the backbone of that. And so at the same time, it's AI to design the drone. It's using artificial intelligence means to be able to observe the battlefield and be able to then give that information back to the person who is piloting the drone. So it's just some really cool stuff that we've had the opportunity to do and build.
You make it sound so simple, but it's very complex. But I love the fact
it's
that
very
you
complex.
have that startup ability to just adapt and overcome
Right.
and take on a project like this. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back, learn more about the contract and really more the future, what's happening with Visimo. In case you just joined us, we are talking to James Julius, the founder and CEO of Visimo. And I love the fact you guys are based right there in Carnegie, doing the great work that you're doing. That was James Julius of Visimo, sharing how grit, adaptability, and a deep technical bench helped his Carnegie-based company break into one of the toughest and most exciting sectors in tech. From bootstrapping to battlefield-ready AI drones, Visimo's journey shows that when you stay curious, stay agile, and stay close to your customers, big opportunities follow. Listen to his entire interview on Tech 5 Radio by hitting the link in the description. Thanks again for listening to 10-Minute Tech Talks. For more stories of innovators shaping the future of tech, subscribe wherever you listen, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.